Hi, Kevin McCamey here with another episode of our 5 qualities of premier performing leaders. Many people believe that productivity is easy to measure by just counting the number of tasks that you check off your list on a given day. Now, while this may be a great visual representation of what you've accomplished during a given period of time, it's not always a true measure of productivity. For instance, if I complete a whole page full of items and I check them off my list, but they're all just busy work, like answering emails or answering phone calls or whatever the busy work might be that's on your desk, instead of income producing activity. That's right, income producing activity. That's what you want to be on your list. Those many checklists you have where you checked everything off by the end of the day, and it appears that you were productive, but if they're not causing the actual results to happen, then you're not really being effective in your productivity. Effective productivity is completing those needle moving activities which lead to the desired results you are striving for. So, effective productivity is much more than just the amount of work that is done in a given amount of time. Effective productivity is a measure of how efficient and effective you are at completing those tasks. Now, there are many different factors that can affect productivity and how you can be more effective, including setting goals. Now, we've talked about this in our other episodes before, but goal setting is a key component of being productive. You've got to have clear and specific goals. And you've got to know when the deadlines are for those goals. And I'll also mention again that you want to make sure that you are setting your goals with the 3 different types. You have your stepping stone goals, the daily or weekly activities that you do, the milestone goals, the monthly or quarterly goals that you set. Those stepping stone goals should be leading to the milestone goals, which in turn will lead to the cornerstone goals, those year-end results or the 5-year results that we plan ahead for and we work towards. When you utilize this process of the stepping stone process first, it's more easy to track your KPIs and make sure that you're staying on track to reach those milestone monthly goals or quarterly goals. And then also be able to reach those important cornerstone goals that everyone raves about. So make sure you're setting those goals for you and for your team and getting them involved in the goal setting process. As we mentioned in last episode, make sure you're not setting your goals outrageously high, because when they're not met, the team is going to be dejected and not feel good about what they're doing. So make sure you've got those intermediate and those stepping stone goals there in place so that as they accomplish those, they are feeling better and better, and their confidence will be growing, just as we said in the last episode on confidence. All right, next, another component of effective productivity is planning. So that process that we just labeled with 3 types of goals is what your plan is going to be when you put all of those things together. And when you have a good plan, you're more likely to avoid the distractions of trying to figure out what to do every day. So planning is actually a daily and weekly activity. And as a matter of fact, if you're not planning ahead for the week and for the month and you're only doing it as things happen, you're being not proactive, but reactive. Our third item is prioritization. If you've happened to read the book Essentialism by the author McEwen, you would know that the word priority at one time only meant one thing. Unbelievable. There was no priorities. There was no plural version of that word. It was just, this is the number one priority. And that's the significance that word had at one time before we added plural S to it. And we started thinking that we could have multiple things that were a priority. Now, of course, we all have our careers. We have our families. We have our friends. And we consider all of those things priorities, right, nowadays. But originally, it only had one form, and that was one thing. So perhaps you can think about it this way. What is the one thing that I need to do right now? Yes, you may have 2 or 3 or 4 priorities that you need to do today. But what's the most important one to do right this second? If you can just figure out what that is and make better decisions on what the priority item is now, you will be so much better in planning your day and your week and your month and achieving those goals that you set. So focus on first things first, and make sure you're setting the priorities as they need to be set to get those actions accomplished. Next, you want to make sure that you're organized. Now, some of you probably have a work desk or a workstation that is completely clear. And if you do, hooray for you, that is great. What I'm saying is organize it. Whatever your desk looks like when you're working, or your workplace looks like, make sure it is organized where you know where all the things are that you need. It may not look organized to anybody else, but you know what the organization is. And if somebody asks you for something, you can put your hand on it just like that. So make sure you're organized. Next, time management, of course, is important for you to be effectively productive. So what do I mean by time management? Well, time management would include block time. I believe block time, blocking out activities on your calendar that you're going to do throughout the day, is a key component to staying productive. And what I'm saying is actually blocking out, I'm going to work on this project during this time of day, and put that on your calendar. When you actually write it down, and you may be doing this the night before or the day of, and actually filling in the blanks, what you're going to be working on and doing and serving others and being with your family and going to kids' soccer games and taking your spouse on a date, all those things, you can block them on your calendar. And what that does for you is it allows you to say, this is my priority during this time. So that's why priority comes before this time management as an item on our list. Block time is the key to my success and being productive, along with setting goals and planning and setting priorities. Next, make sure you stay motivated by doing all of these other 5 things: goals, planning, prioritization, organization, and time management. When you're clicking on all cylinders, you are going to find that you're going to stay motivated and your productivity will be both efficient and productive. So keep all these factors in mind and improve your productivity as you are more effective in achieving those important results. Now be sure and click below to get the full guide on effective productivity where you can download it. And we'll see you in our final